and from Movie Reviews 101, and today I'm putting forward my entry into the Robin Williams Blogathon, as being presented by the good old days of classic Hollywood and the Real Widgy Midget Reviews. And for more information on this, I'll leave a description below so you can see all the other people that have entered this and all of their other reviews and content related to the great Robin Williams. And for me, Robin Williams is one of my all-time favourite actors. He is somebody who broke barriers, he took things to new levels, he always seemed to get remembered as a comedic actor, but the reality is he was so much more than just that. We all know the problems that he faced in his personal life, and strangely and sadly enough, it's actually going to be the 4-year anniversary of his tragic death this year, which is hard to believe because I still remember the moment I heard that what had happened, and I was at work. It was about 6 o'clock in the morning, and I was wandering around doing my work, and it came on the radio, and everything just stopped, and I just wanted to sit down and cry because it was so tragic. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to pick my 5 favourite roles of his career. I want to point out these are going to be my 5 favourites. I do appreciate that he has done better movies, but these are the 5 that I enjoy watching the most. I think this is where we see just how talented he was, because it is no fluke that he went from the early 80s to the late 90s by having Golden Globe nominations on nearly every year, and of course he had 1 Oscar win. So without any further ado, I'm going to start with number 5, Mrs. Doubtfire, where he plays Daniel Hillard and Mrs. Doubtfire, who plays the nanny, or he plays the husband who's been kicked out by his wife, who decides to make up a fake nanny so he can spend time with his kids. Now for me, this is by far his best comedic work. He gets to do everything he's brilliant at. He gets to handle some of the slapstick, the fast-paced jokes, the lovable father figure, and the aggressive rival, especially when he's up against like the Pierce Brosnan character that is trying to take his wife. This is something that was always going to be his best and most known role. You ask any fan on the street, name me a Robin Williams role, they all say Mrs. Doubtfire. You can sit, you can laugh, and you can enjoy this movie so many times. I will never be able to recommend this more than anything if you want a comical movie. But saying that, I've started with a comical one, so I'm going to jump into more interesting roles that he started to take with my number 4 choice, and that is Walter Finch in Insomnia. Now this is Christopher Nolan's second major feature movie. It is a remake of a Swedish movie that strangely stars Stellan Skarsgård. I can't pronounce his name, Skarsgård, who we will talk about later in this video. Spoiler alert. Anyway, Walter Finch is a potential murderer. We don't know quite if he's a serial killer, but he's an author who has been involved in a crime. And this movie puts Robin Williams up against Al Pacino, with Hilary Swank in the background. 3 Oscar winners, arguably the best director of the 20th century, and everything comes together in this really intense thriller where they give great back and forth, where we have Pacino losing his mind, and then we have Walter Finch who's just trying to keep one step ahead of the detective, playing him at his own game. It's a brilliant cat and mouse chase movie. It is the one that we wanted The Snowman to be this year, or last year. This is something you have to watch. It is fantastic. And Robin Williams comes out of any show you've ever seen to play such a dark, criminal character who clearly is very calculated in what he is doing. In at number 3, this is going to be the most criticised choice on my list. I am picking Andrew Martin from The Bicentennial Man. Now for me, Bicentennial Man is a film I can enjoy. Simple as that. I know a lot of people hate this movie, but I love this movie. We have Robin Williams in a robot suit for most of the movie. You don't even see him doing his physical actions, which is something we hadn't seen before from him. A very physical comedic character. He gets to have some stand-up routine, which is fantastic to see. We get to see his character evolve and have the emotions of wanting to become human. And through the movie he does become more Robin Williams is, but we lose parts of his robotic outlayer. And it's something that is so challenging for him to have done, to have somebody who is that well recognised be behind a mask for so long, and then come through to play such an important role where he tries to play a natural romantic interest. I know people hate this movie so much, but I can't help but find it truly happy, sad, if you get what I mean by that, by where everything goes in this movie. So I would suggest this one is a must. If you want to see him take on a braver role, which sounds like I'm going to say for a lot of these roles. In at number 2 is Seymour Parish from 1 Hour Photo. And this is one which has quite often been quoted by Robin Williams himself as his proudest achievement. There's a quote you can find on the internet where he has actually said that he was at the screening and somebody said, "I didn't even realise that was you after a few minutes." So that tells you how dark this character is. He plays a lonely photo creator, someone who makes the photos at a local shopping mall or supermarket slash thing. And he gets a bit of obsessive, compulsive love for this family, mother, father and kids. And he almost creates the idea that he is part of this family, and then when he finds something else out, he snaps and goes for it. And he is so blank-faced, so lonely in this character. He is harmless but dangerous in every scene you watch, and what he does is messed up, but it's something you wouldn't imagine ever seeing someone do. This is one of the darkest movies he's ever done, and you have to see this one just for the boldness he took by taking a role of this level of darkness. You couldn't imagine the All Swing and Mrs. Doubtfire doing this, put it that way. Definitely watch this one. And for number 1, this feels like it's going to be an obvious choice if anyone knows me personally, but I am picking Sean Maguire from Good Will Hunting. For me, Good Will Hunting has become my favourite movie ever. I don't know how this has gone from I liked it a lot to, yeah, it's probably number 1. It has something to do with all of the inspirational scenes. It used to start with just the Ben Affleck Matt Damon scene, but it has soon evolved into the Sean and Will Hunting scenes, where we just see the two interact, different things, with the best scene. For me personally, I say this now, but tomorrow would be something different, but my favourite scene is the one where he's telling the story of when he met his wife. And they're getting so excited, and the young Matt Damon, or Will Hunting, doesn't really know the stupidity of his statement, saying, "How could you give up the best ball game for a girl you had never met?" And he's like, he does the whole regret moments, and No Regrets is one of the best moments of that movie. But you could throw out the park bench, Your Move, Son, the moment when they first meet, the final sequence, and there's just so many great scenes between the two of them as they become friends with their difficulties that we clearly know that the genius Will Hunting has. He did win the Oscar for this, and as I said, Stellan Skarsgård is actually the rival teacher trying to get Will through an educational program, which is why it's quite interesting, because Skarsgård plays the Pacino character in the original Insomnia. And if you could do a merge of the two, watching their one scene together where they're talking about serial killers and geniuses is really good scene as well, because it's so underrated, because everybody was focused on the Will Hunting or Ben Affleck's character's scenes. So that's another big highlight of this movie. That has been my top 5 Robin Williams movies. I hoped you liked my list. In the comments, tell me which ones are your top 5, and head over to the sites to read about all the other Robin Williams fans out there. And until next time, I have been Darren, and I'm going to say goodbye. And that's going to be all we're going to have time for today. We could go through a million Robin Williams quote scenes, but we'll just say, "Oh Captain, my Captain,